Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking to you about my first treat buy of my no buy year. I've allowed myself 3 treat buys throughout my no buy year, and the first one I chose was the Too Faced Pretty Rich palette. This is what the palette looks like. It is really pretty. I'm not a fan of the packaging. It's really bulky, and some people think it looks kind of classy. I don't like it. I think it looks quite tacky, to be honest. Now, I wasn't sure whether I was going to bother using one of my valuable treat buys for this palette because it looks nice. It didn't thrill me though when I saw it online. But I was drawn to it a little bit. I read a lot of reviews. It was recommended to me by a couple of friends, and I don't have any palettes with pressed glitters in, so I thought I would give it a go. I have filmed a tutorial for this as well, which will be coming out later this week, I hope. And I did talk a little bit about the palette in that video, but here is going to be mainly swatches rather than a tutorial, and a little bit more about the formula and stuff, and the palette in general. So if you want to see swatches of this palette, just keep watching. Aside from the packaging, you get a nice mirror inside. Again, I'm not fussed about mirrors on palettes because I use my own mirror anyway. But this is what the palette looks like. So you get 4 mattes in here, and 4 glitter shades, and the rest are all sort of either shimmers or like they're all shimmers. They're sort of they're all still metallic, but not like the pressed glitters like the ones in these sort of diamond shaped ones. So as for the formula of these, the mattes are pretty much the same as every other Too Faced palette that I have. So yep, you know, they are a good formula. You can't go wrong with a Too Faced matte eyeshadow. The shimmers, I think, perform very similarly as well to the other Too Faced shimmers that I have. You know, no complaints there. They're all really well pigmented, and they're not too metallic. The colour selection is really nice. You know, you've got a lot of neutrals and sort of bronzy shades up here, then like a pink row, sort of rose gold pink colours, and then you've got this more gold row with a nice burgundy here, which is really nice on the outer corner, and then you've got sort of a blue greyish silver row down here as well. And that is what I've used on my eyes today. I used this shade here as a transition shade, then I used this shade here on my outer corners, and then I used this shade here, set the jewel tone all over my lid sort of as a shimmer base, and then I went over that with the shade here, Diamond Life, and then I used Diamonds for Breakfast on my inner corners and Coal Under Pressure on my outer corner and lower lash line as well. One thing I will say about the glitters is when applying onto your lid, they apply a lot better with another eyeshadow underneath, so I've sort of been applying the shimmers and then a glitter because it sort of helps it stick onto. I don't have a glitter glue or like any sort of glitter adhesive, but I didn't want to put like primer or concealer over my base colour because they're more like toppers than they are glitters, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm going to do some swatches now, so you will see all of that. Okay, so starting off with the first row of shades. Here we have the shade Diamonds for Breakfast. Then here it's very pale, it's just like a matte cream shade. That is the shade It's Designer. Here is the sort of matte transition shade Fancy That. And then this is sort of a bronze shimmer called Filthy Rich. Okay, now here is the second row, and so starting off we've got the shade Clutch Your Pearls, which is sort of, it appears white in the pan, but as you can see it's got sort of a pink reflect to it. It's a really pretty colour. It's nice on the inner corners. Next we have the shade Princess Cut. It's just sort of a pale pink shimmer. Then we have the second glitter. This is Diamond Glitterati, and as you can see it is really nice, but you can sort of see through it, so it is more of a topper. You know, it comes out a little bit patchy. And then here is the shade Highly Selective. Okay, here we have the third row of shades. So this gold glitter here is Fluent in Diamonds, and again you can see it's really nice, but a little bit patchy, so it's definitely better as a topper. Then we have another transition shade here. This is It's Cashmere. Then we have Don't Care At All and Oh That's Rich. That's that matte sort of burgundy colour. Okay, so then we have the bottom row. This is the black with sort of glitter in it. It's Coal Under Pressure. Then we have this sort of shimmery bluish greyish purple. It's a really, really nice colour, that one, called Silver Spoon. Then we have Set the Jewel Tone, which is a lovely blue shimmer, and then I tried to swatch here but it didn't really come out. This is the final glitter shade, Diamond Life. I've swatched it up here, and again you really can't see it very well. It's definitely better as a topper, that one in particular, because it's so sort of sparse, you can really see through it. But so here it is in the pan. It is a really, really pretty colour. It is what I've got over my eyes today. So I've used the shade Set the Jewel Tone, and then I've popped this over the top, and it just gives it a really nice sparkle. But yeah, unfortunately it's just not one that you can really use on its own, because you just can't see it that well. There it is, you can sort of see just here. But it's definitely better as a topper over one of the other blue shades, I think. Or any of the other ones, you know, you can mix and match it with a different palette. So yeah, here are the swatches all together. They are really, really pretty. It's a lovely palette. I am glad I picked it up. I wasn't sure whether I would like it, but I really do, and this is the only palette, as I said, that I have pressed glitters in, so I'm excited to play around with these some more, and maybe mix and match it with some other different palettes that I've got. One thing I will say about the glitter shades is, as you can see already, I've got some dents in them, and I've only used them a couple of times. So I've used them to swatch, and I've used this one twice and this one once today. And if I turn it on its side a bit, you can just see where I've pressed my finger into them. They're only very small dents, but I think after, like, if you were to use this every day for a month, you might hit pan on some of the glitters if you use the glitters every day. Yeah, you have to pick up quite a lot to get sort of an opaque look with them, because they're more of a topper, definitely. If you want to create quite an opaque look using that colour, you do have to pick up quite a lot of it. So the shadows themselves are 0.95 grams each, which is the same as what you're getting in the original Too Faced Chocolate Bar and the Sweet Peach palette. So just to give you an idea of the sizes, obviously not the big pans one, just the ordinary size pans in those palettes. That's just to give you an idea of the pan size, but yeah, obviously the glitters do sort of, the usage on them goes down quicker than the mattes. It looks like I've barely touched the mattes. I have used the mattes more than the shimmers, but it's not showing as much. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should invest in a glitter glue. Overall, I really like this palette. I would recommend getting it. I wouldn't recommend getting it if you were a beginner with eyeshadows, because it's very glittery. There's a lot of shimmers and a lot of glitters in here, and not many mattes. So it's not, you can create sort of an everyday neutral look with the mattes in this, but it's not an everyday palette by any means. You know, you can't ignore all the shimmer and glitter in here. So it might not be super easy to work with if you're a beginner, you know, if you're new to eyeshadow, but it is a really great palette. So if you were considering picking it up, and if you don't have many sort of glittery palettes, I really would recommend this one. I think a lot of people have compared this to the Pretty Mess palette, which has come out recently as well, just after this one. I don't have the Pretty Mess palette, and I don't think I'm going to buy it. As nice as it looks, I think that I've got all the colours in that palette in my other Too Faced palettes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recreate the Pretty Mess palette with my current Too Faced collection. So if you want to see that, keep an eye out. That should hopefully be coming out later this week as well. It's going to be a bit of a Too Faced week, but that's okay. So yeah, if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell so that you can be notified anytime I release a video. I know I don't do it sort of regularly, so I am going to try and come up with a schedule soon. I'm thinking Mondays and Fridays. Let me know what you think about that. But I need to come up with some sort of regular pattern for releasing videos, because I'm a bit bad with keeping to it. But yeah, so I hope you like this video, and stay tuned if you want to see that Pretty Mess recreation video, and also my tutorial for my Pretty Rich palette. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.